Hello, Anand. Today we have Director of Product at Salesforce joining us to explain a critical technology that is going to transform how documents are being processed by the agentic AI in this all AI revolution that is going on. Anand, thanks for joining us. I would like you to first introduce yourself a little bit, and then we can go ahead and talk about the missing link in the agentic AI about how document AI accelerates agentic transformation.
Thank
So
you.
over
Thank
to
you,
you.
Shrey. Thank you, Shrey, and thanks to your team at Syntexa. So my name is Anand, and I am a product manager at Salesforce, and I own a couple of products. One of them that I'm excited to share today is called Document AI, which is a part of the data cloud. So looking forward to this discussion.
Perfect. So we're trying to explore the gap between the AI which is now and where it needs to be for all of our future enterprise transformation. So what are your thoughts on the same?
Yeah, I think we are at a very interesting moment, right? Because by now everybody has seen a demo of AI, how it can transform their application development, how it can give return on investment. So the demo part of it is really awesome across the board. Literally, you wouldn't have seen a single CTO who is not excited about the possibilities of AI. But in a way, we are kind of there. We are just there in the say. It's still some parts of it is possibility, right? Because what we are trying to do now is deploy those agents and deploy those AI applications in the real enterprise use cases. And I think that's where I think recently also you would have seen the McKinsey's article where even MIT also released one article where a lot of the initial initiatives are kind of failing because this is when the rubber hits the road, and uh, and we are seeing some of the challenges. This is a necessary step in any technology pivot, right? But we are going through that pivot in AI.
Got it. And what are your thoughts on like the separation or what actually separates the AI assistants with the agents that we need for tomorrow?
Yeah, great question. And this is what like a lot of this actually is one of the main reasons between the POC and a successful implementation in a company, right? Because a POC is like you go to ChatGPT and you give it a great problem and it gives you a really mind-blowing answer. That's a POC because you can give text in and text out. But agentic means it is not waiting for the human to give that prompt. In fact, the whole thing about prompt engineering is how to ask the question in the right way so that the LLM can answer the question, right? But then what we want our ideal coworker in a company, in our own teams, is it should have agency. It should have a volition. It should have a goal of its own. And so it'll be able to, once you give the goal, it has the tools, it has all these guardrails, and it's able to execute towards that goal. And so it doesn't wait for the human input or the human nudge. And so that's all that is happening, that is needed. That's one of the important things which is needed, which is how do you give agency to our software agent so that you don't have to prompt it. It doesn't have to be reactive. It can be proactive. You just give it a decent enough business problem statement, give it a bunch of tools, give it a bunch of resources, and then let it go and solve the problems that you have. Yeah.
That sounds too amazing to hear, but how about you give us a real world example of the same?
Sure. Yeah, it is. It does sound too amazing to be true, and many different organizations have achieved different levels of success, and but this is the future that we are going towards. There's no question about that. The question is whether how soon can we get there, and what are the different strategies to get there. So Shrey, you asked for like an example, right? A real world example of how this would look like. So we are just like few weeks ahead of Diwali, so I'll talk about something which is similar to contextual in that sense, which I'm sure everybody can understand, which is
And
the
relate to.
thing. Yes, yeah. So it's about the underwriting of loans, right? Generally, before any big celebration, people want to purchase things and they want to take it on credit. And in typically in every lending institution, there is a underwriting practice which exists. So underwriting basically means that hey, somebody is asked for a loan. Now, can I give the loan to this person? Is he or she credit worthy or not? And for that, typically, you know the drill. We'll upload a bunch of documents. We would have a loan application which is in the structured data. Somebody had filled it, and then you have all these unstructured documents, which is like PDF files, images, etc., etc. Now there'll be a human being who actually looks at this and looks at everything, right? Okay, the PAN number is X, and I'll open the some PDF and see the PAN number is the same X, and he's not somebody else. He's not using the document of someone else. And what is the bank statement? What is the history of transactions? Has he ever defaulted on one of his EMI payments? All those kinds of things. So
All the
every
credit reports and everything, right? Civil
exactly,
score and stuff like that.
exactly. And if you think about it, it's natural that every lending organization has their own set of business rules and underwriting rules. Okay, XYZ, they can write it. But the thing is, all of this is done by a human agent right now. And lots of it is drudgery, right? But some of it is human discretion. Like you need to, at some point, you need to apply the understanding that, hey, is this person going to be a good bet for me? And so how this will look, how we can reimagine this in the agentic future is you can almost imagine that agent can actually do a lot of the mechanistic work that is there, which is, hey, checking the PAN number is the same, checking if the Aadhaar number is the same, looking up the Aadhaar directory, getting the address, and checking that the address that is given in the Aadhaar directory and the address in the loan application is similar. Looking at the bank statement, calculating the average balance, calculating the number of times the credit went to negative, calculating the number of times the EMI was missed. All this are very mechanistic, but the problem is all of this involves looking at multiple tools, documents, PDF files, images, which only a human being can do. So all these are actually created for human eyes, right? If you think about a bank statement, that's not in JSON, that's not in XML. That's for a human being to read, right? Now that's where the challenge is. Like, how do you create an agent if everything that the agent has gets thrown at it is all meant for human eyes? It is not meant for computers. So that's where I think document AI comes. But so the ideal future is, ideal end state is the agents are able to understand these documents just as humans and are able to do all these mechanical work by themselves. It doesn't mean that the human beings are not there. You don't want to run a lending institution like that, right? But all you can do is you can empower the human beings to take the more discretionary decisions, the qualitative decisions. You'd let the agent do all the mechanical stuff. You can show the preview, and the human being can check if that is correct or wrong. And checking it is always much faster than doing it yourself. And then the most important thing is, because all of this is done, now you can be really inventive, and really your quality of your qualitative decisions or your discretionary decisions can be much of higher quality. And so that's how we see the world evolving, which is a lot of our drudgery work we want the agents to do. That's the first level. And then we want the humans to do more higher order qualitative work. That's the
Got
future.
it. When you've taken the name of document and processing the documents and doing a lot of mechanical work, let's dig deeper into what exactly is this document analyzing job that is acting as a challenge for a lot of enterprises, and how actually they can, or basically how it is becoming an impediment into the agentic workflows that they are creating for the enterprises.
Yeah. So
We can
so if
take
you
the
look
same
at,
example if you want to
yeah,
continue with the same.
yeah, sure. So if you think about this, right, this example that I talked about, uh, who are the underwriter persona, who are the people that he or she, that underwriter is interacting with. He's dealing with internal employees, other his manager or maybe his colleagues, who will say, hey, this case is assigned to you, take a look at it. Or somebody will say, hey, I've already reviewed it, take a look at it and give me your second opinion. Or it could be end users, the actual customers of the lending institution, who could be like Tom, Dick, and Harry. They're saying, I want to buy a car, here are my instructions. Or it could also be organizational lending. It could be other companies who want to
Yeah.
ask for money. And on the other side, it could again be a human being or an agent. So in all these cases, you have these basically the touch points, right? These touch points are actually, no, the touch point could be, hey, I've done the case, I want you to review it. So that's one example. Another example is a new customer is coming and asking for a approval. That's another touch point. In all these touch points, uh, the handover or the artifact that you start out your work with is all meant for human beings. It is documents here. In this particular case, it's a bunch of documents. Some of it is structured and it is meant for machines. Like, for example, if the form was filled in an online form, that comes in a structured data. So that is more amenable. But there are parts of it which are not amenable for agents to look at. And so that's where I think the document AI comes in, because now document AI, you can almost think of it as a tool that the agent can use, which almost gives it a set of eyes, right? Because today, when the agent sees the document, which is PDFs and base 64 data and not very clear, But then you have this tool where it can put on these goggles or the smart glasses and is able to see the data that is hidden in the PDF or in the image. And now it is able to see the data as if a human being is seeing it. And then once it is able to do it, it can do all those other awesome mechanical work that a human being was doing so far. And so that's how we're seeing this happen. And that's why Salesforce has been working on this product. It's called Document AI, and it's a part of Data Cloud. And so if you're interested, we can have a quick demo to show how this works instead of actually talking about it. I'm happy to give a demo, but any other questions, I'm happy to take.
Before moving ahead to the demo, I'm just curious to understand whether this document AI that you're talking about is just going to work independently, or does this also get integrated with the other tools and things that are provided with the Salesforce platform, and also outside of Salesforce if there is a possibility?
Yeah, great. I'm glad you asked the question. So one of the reasons when we started building this product, right, earlier in the year, one of the things that we were very clear is we wanted to make use of the unified platform that Salesforce offers, right? What it means is the unified metadata that once you have something, it not just works on its own, but it helps everything else to work better. And so, to answer your specific question, yes, it works with everything that we know and we love about Salesforce, which is Flow Builder. You can add it as a action in Flow. You can add it as an agent. You can actually add it in as a custom button or a widget in any of your clouds, right? Whether you want document processing in the example that I said, which is loan application, we could integrate it with financial services cloud. In fact, we have an ongoing integration with financial services cloud. And if you are a doctor or if you're a hospital and you're using Health Cloud, it can integrate with your lab reports and anything else which comes from a hospital or a doctor's office. Or it can be your own customization, right? You can literally say, hey, I have this service cloud use case, I have this contact, I want to do enrichment of the S object based on the documents. You can build it out. So it's fully it works with the rest of the Salesforce ecosystem, which is what the we feel is the power of Document AI.
Got it. All right. Without wasting any further time, let's look. Let's see what you've got in the demo for us.
Awesome. I'm going to share my screen. And
Yeah.
while I do this, I want to call out that I am quite new to Zoom. So please excuse if I make some stupid errors.
And then they're
Are you
not
able to
going to
see
be
my
any.
screen?
Yes, I can. It's
Okay,
good.
great. Is good? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So what we are going to do, Shrey, now is that we are going to see how Document AI actually, like you asked, right? How does it work with rest of the Salesforce? So that's
Yeah.
what we are going to do. I'm not going to show you Document AI UI itself in Data Cloud. We look at it at the end. But here, what I'm going to show you is how this can create a better experience in some other cloud. So here we are in Service Console and we are in contacts tab. This is a very trivial example, but the idea is to give you a sense of the power that it unblocks. And so you have all these contacts here. And so let's open Ellie's contact, which is here. And if you see Ellie's contact, a lot of the information is all blank. Okay, there is no phone number, there is no address. All of this is blank. But if you see here on the top right corner, I hope you're able to see it. You'll see there is a file attachment. Okay. And this is very typical. You'll be surprised the number of times the S object itself does not have the information. But the attachment, in this case, the attachment is a resume, has all the great information. It has the address, it has the email address, it has the phone number, it has many other information, right? So the problem statement we're trying to do is many times our customers literally open the attachment and they open the S object, they manually update all these fields, right? And this attachment could be added because of some other flow. It could be a case to email, or sorry, email to case kind of a flow. It could be some other flow. It could be automatically done. But what they are doing manually is opening the document and filling up these fields one by one. Now we will see how we can use the power of Document AI and the power of the Salesforce Unified Platform to really automate this enrichment process. So you see here, there's a button. Are you able to see it? The document analysis
Yeah.
button.
Yeah.
Okay. So this button actually triggers a screen flow. Now what it does is it looks at the document that we saw on the top right corner, and it kind of tries to extract using the power of Agentforce and using the power of LLMs, all the information that is relevant in this particular subject, which is things like street address, city, PIN code, and mobile number, etc. Now, uh, usually people had to type this up by looking at the document, but this is all done. Not only is that, you can actually go ahead and edit this thing. You can say that, hey, I would like to add the country code. So I actually manually edited it. So this is human in the loop, not just AI doing everything, but it's really empowering the human beings to kind of sidestep the drudgery. But then you can add your human context wherever it is needed, and then you hit save. What it does is all the information that got extracted, now it is updated in the S object. So the S object, it just like few seconds, we are able to enrich it with this capability. And if you're okay, I can show you the guts of what happens underneath. I'm sure you'll be curious. You're an engineer, I
Yeah,
know.
I am actually, yeah.
So we'll look at what happens when you click this document here, right? So if you click that button, what's happening underneath is a screen flow which gets triggered. And this is a screen flow that I created just for the demo here. And if you open the screen flow, I'm going to open it in a bit. So there is this button which says open flow. It's opening in a new tab. Are you able to still see my page?
It's still loading. It's
Awesome.
loading.
Okay, that means you're able to see it.
Yeah.
So what I have done here is I've created a simple flow, and this flow is like, actually I'm not a flow expert. I just built this for the demo, but as a lot of you will know more about this than me. But this is all very simple, right? All it's trying to do is, hey, find out the contact ID where I got invoked. Okay, in this case, it's Ellie's contact ID, right? This person Ellie, her contact ID. We are trying to get it. Next thing, what it's trying to do is it's trying to get the document ID associated with that attachment for Ellie's record. So you got a content document ID, which is an SF file ID. Now, the next step is the most important step. You see the step called as Document AI Apex Action. So if I click this, what actually happens is you're invoking an Apex class that actually triggers Document AI on that particular document ID. If you see here, there's a content document ID. So that is the variable where you have got the attachment ID. And I'm referencing the IDP config ID, which is here, which says as resume data for contact. What it tells is, it tells the document AI that, hey, use this document, which you got from the previous flow. But for the fields that I need you to extract, go and refer to this config that I've already defined in Data Cloud. And I'll show you how to do it. But for the purposes of this demo, what I'm trying to say is the fact that I needed mobile number, I needed street address, that set of prompts or schema is basically what is referred here, and that's it. Once you have that, you populate it in the screen so that the output of it is shown to the user can update it, and finally you update
Contact
the
record.
contact record. And I am not a flow expert. I am absolutely new. It took me like half an hour to figure this out. So I'm sure the experts in your channel, they'll be able to do something way more smarter than this. But this is an idea of how easy it is to create a simple automation. And now I actually want to show you, Shrey, if you're okay, how this
Mm-hmm.
config ID or this document schema was created. And
Please.
for that, we will go into the data cloud itself. So now we are in data cloud. If you see, you
Uh-huh.
will see there's a tab called unstructured data. This tab will be renamed to something called as process content. And under
Mm-hmm.
that tab, you will see data document. Yeah, and you have a lot of config IDs that are created. Each config, you can think about it as corresponding to one document type. Okay, and so we have one for resume here. And so you don't have to create a new configuration for every new resume. Okay, as long as it's a resume, because everybody sends a resume in
Yeah.
their own formats, right? I'm sure you have a nice Salesforce Hulk image in your resume. Not that you don't
Yeah.
need it. You run your own company, but the idea is that you have just one document schema for one type of document, and the LLM is able to understand the different formats. As long as it's a resume, it will be able to understand, and it kind of tells what all fields I need to extract from that document. So this is the one-time setup you have to do, and it's actually very, very easy to do a new setup. If you want to create a new document AI schema, it's actually very easy. I can quickly show you how to do it. So you just click new, select without source object, and you can actually upload a file that you want to extract. So here, for the sake of the example, I'm uploading a bank statement. And so I'm selecting the model here, and I'm selecting the auto extract feature. What it does is, so this is a new config I'm creating. What it's trying to do is, what I'm trying to say is, hey, here's a document. Now you tell me what all fields I should care about. Okay. I can do this manually. I can add one field at a time. I can say account number, account name, but even that you can automate it. And it has identified all these great structure from the bank statement, what you can expect. So a set of transactions, a set of fields, Now, once you like it, you can actually go ahead and test it to test the extraction of this a particular schema. Now, one cool thing while this is actually hitting the LLMs using Agentforce, and you see all the output has come. I'm not able to show you the document because I don't know how to share the another screen. But you can see here, everything that was there in that PDF is now come as structured data. Now, this is what we talked about earlier, right? You want to give the agent a set of eyes that can understand document which is meant for human beings. That's exactly what's happened here. Now, not only that, you can actually tweak this. So this was generated, the schema was generated by human being, by the LLM, sorry. But if you don't like it, you can actually say that, hey, I don't want this. I want branch address city, only output the city of the bank's branch. So what's happening here is you're able to add branch city is already there. So I'm going to remove this. So you see what's happening here, right? You can actually tweak the schema and you can define what you want in very in human language. You can literally write whatever you want. You can literally tell to LLM what you want to extract, just as if you're telling a colleague how you want this to happen. Uh, and that's it. Once you have this, you can save it, and you can once you save it, the same name that you put here, you can refer it in any other place. You can refer it here. We referred it in a flow builder, but you can totally imagine how you can refer it in, let's say, an agent, or you can refer it in some other cloud, uh, etc., etc. And yes, you asked at some point, can it be referenced by an external system? Yes, absolutely. Yes, it can be. At the
Using
end of the day,
APIs and everything.
yes, it's a Connect API. You can do that. So I hope that gives you a sense of what Document AI can do.
That gives an absolute sense with the great demo. Thank you. How much time does it like really take to process all of these documents? Like,
Yeah,
is there a, I mean, does it take more time or less, or like
yeah.
how is this structured?
Yeah. So today it takes a couple of seconds. It takes like 5 to 10 seconds, sometimes more.
Mm-hmm.
In this example that we showed, actually it's a multi-page, like about 15 pages of PDFs, which had like very complex tables. And so it took
Mm-hmm.
more time, but smaller documents, the resume you saw, it completed in 3 seconds. So it depends on the complexity of the document. That's number one. And it also depends on the complexity of the data in the document. So because remember that at the end of the day, we are throwing all of this at LLM, and LLM has to inference this. So for example, I'll give you an example, right, of an example of a document which took a long time, which is the handwritten doctor's notes. And you all
Does it
know, yeah,
allow to access the handwritten documents as well?
absolutely. I would love to
Okay.
show you a demo, but maybe another time. But you can actually totally throw a document which is like handwritten, and it could
Mm-hmm.
even be in non-Latin language. It could be in Hindi,
Mm-hmm.
it could be in Tamil, doesn't matter. And it's able to extract it. It takes time because the quality now it needs to do image
A lot of
understanding, visual
processing.
understanding. Yes, it needs to do a lot of processing, and so we have special prompts to handle that, and it takes more time. So the short answer is it takes anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes, 15 seconds, sorry, 15 seconds
Seconds.
per document. Today, we have limits on how many number of pages we process. We support up to
Okay.
25 pages per PDF. We definitely have plans to increase that in the future, add more document types like Word documents, etc.
Got it. And would you mind sharing or mind throwing some light onto how does it actually work under the hood, or how the technical architecture and everything for the same is designed and structured?
Yeah, I'd love to. What we do is, so basically at the end of the day, so a lot of the work is done by the LLMs, right? LLMs have
Uh-huh.
become the general purpose LLMs have become very, very powerful, but
Okay.
then
Yeah.
you can't just throw the document at the LLM. Okay, you need to do some
Mm-hmm.
amount of pre-processing. And so what we do at the very high level is we let some of that definition be done by the user. Okay, so first user has to be, so what we have noticed is the accuracy of extraction is very good depending on how conscious and how deliberate you are on what fields you want to extract.
Okay.
If you say, hey, I want only the doctor's the drug name and the number of times you need to take, and if it is very, very clear what you want, then it actually helps with accuracy. If instead of that saying that, if you just throw the document and say, I want everything from this document, the accuracy reduces. So we do a couple of things. First, we let the user be very specific about what they want. Okay, that's why you saw the UI. We are able to add a field, and you can edit the field, and you can add a prompt telling the LLM in more context, hey, exactly what you want. That's number one. Number two is we do pre-processing of the file. And so especially when you need So basically, you think about it, right? I think recently Toby from Shopify talked about this. There's something called as context engineering because the LLMs have a certain amount of memory. Now you need to optimize that memory so that you get the best output from it. So what we have to do is you can't throw the whole document, which could be very big, into the LLM. So you have to chunk it, and when you chunk it, you need to make sure that you give the context correctly. Otherwise, the LLM will just look at it that page and it'll make wrong decisions. So it's almost like without getting into too much detail, a sliding window kind of a context memory management where we give bits of information to the LLM, but we kind of annotate it with the right context, and we also get the user's help by getting the user's intent clear. Using all of this, we are able to extract the value from the LLM. So, short answer: a lot of it is done by LLM, but a non-trivial amount of pre-processing and context management is done by the product.
When all of this information of a document or the complete document is being shared with the LLM, after, of course, a lot of processing, what about the security of the data that is present in the document? How is this being managed or taken care of? Because that's a
Awesome.
big question for all of the enterprises.
Yeah, great question. And I think that's where the ecosystem comes in, right? And you asked earlier, like, how does it work with everything else in Salesforce? So this uses Einstein's trust layer. I'm sure you would have. I've seen many videos. We have talked about it in the past. So we don't talk to LLM just like that. We go through the trust layer that Salesforce provides. So trust layer guarantees a lot of things we didn't have to worry about, right? It takes care of model residency. It takes care of certain parts of PII masking. It takes care of, in fact, we also have contractual agreements in place with all the top vendors to make sure that none of this information is persisted in the model providers. So we are contractually obligated, those vendors are contractually
LLM, huh?
obligated to not to persist the information. So everything that goes through, we also don't persist unless you ask us to. Like if you're sending the document through Document AI, there are two modes. If you remember, when we started the setup, there were like two options we had to choose from, and I chose the right one. If you chose the left one, we would be persisting the extracted data, and you can do all other sorts of processing. But if you choose the right one, which says without source object, we are making sure that we don't persist it even in Salesforce, even in Data Cloud. And so short answer is yes, we use the Einstein trust layer, which means automatically non-persistence of data, some level of PIA masking, and even model residency will be automatically taken care of. For example, give you an example, because this is the real thing for the example that we talked about earlier, which is the underwriting scenario. In India, if you have to run a fintech, you need to have all your data in India. That's the RBI regulation. And so when you use data document AI, we make sure that we use the India server for OpenAI. That way, the physically doesn't leave the
Security
country. So
is
this, yeah, it's also the sovereignty of the data, right? You make sure that because you use the model which is hosted in Mumbai, the OpenAI model, we are within the laws of the land. So all that is also handled by the system.
got it. And would you mind sharing more such use cases for businesses other than the underwriter one that we just talked about?
Yeah.
That which what kind of businesses can get the benefit of document AI in which way?
Yeah, absolutely. So, couple of, I mean, this was a learning experience for me too. I'm not very, quite new to Salesforce. I've been here 4.5 years. Some of the things which really triggered and kind of made me excited was, say, in doctor's office, especially in some of the Western countries, they have these referral systems, which comes in faxes. Still, it comes in faxes. And what happens is when a new fax comes, which is a referral to a doctor's office, there's somebody in the reception who looks at the incoming fax, and they decide, okay, this goes to this particular floor, this goes to this department, it goes to this particular doctor, because they looked at the document and they looked at the facts in the document. And if you really look at what they're doing, they're actually looking at some fields in the facts, and depending on that field, if it is an issue about liver, they know that this is the right department. And what we can do is, what we have seen customers who are doing it is, they're able to do the extraction of the document from the facts and extract the key fields. And from those key fields, they're able to write a simple mapping saying that, hey, if it is this kind of doctors referred, you need to forward this fax to this particular department. So this can be actually automated. So what was previously somebody reading through the fax and forwarding it, all this now becomes a simple pop-up which the users can just review. You can say, hey, the agent can literally say, I got an incoming fax, I saw these fields, and I think this is the right person or department to forward to. Say yes, or you can change it. 95% of times they'll just say okay. 5% of time they have to use the discretion, and they will change the decision taken by the agent. Classic case of humans and agents working together. And here, if you see, the receptionist is really doing what they can really help, which is those edge cases where it's not very clear.
Hmm.
For
Hmm.
rest of the stuff, most of the stuff, it's very, very clear where the facts needs to go. That's an example. Another example is about okay. This I'm sure you know about this ITSM thing that we are doing, right? But even broader than that, the case management. When a new bug comes in, or let's say you have released a product and you get all kinds of tickets which comes from customers. How do you do the first level of how do I say first level of diagnosis or classification? Because a lot of times what happens is, even this happened even with us, right? When you release a new product, you get a lot of noise, a lot of bugs which are not categorized. So one of the things that our engineers do is actually categorize the issues so that we know at least, okay, once you categorize it, you know the right people to follow it up with. And we can do that with LLMs, because what is like an email is all kinds of description, human description, and also some screenshots. Using that, we can literally say, hey, based on this information, identify the product which the user is facing the problem, because that itself is sometimes not clear. Product and the product SKU name, exact product SKU name. And second, how was the user trying to use it? What's the use case? And what is the error? And what screen or what component in that whole product we are having the error? Document AI can do this just from an email, right? And once you have this information, now you can do other things. The first level of triaging is done, and now the second level of triaging by the human beings can do. And imagine how awesome it would be for the team leader. You can real time see, hey, how many types of issues I'm seeing. You don't have to wait for the engineer to look at the issue and debug it and all that. Last example. I know we are slowly out
No,
of
no
time.
worries. We can have that.
Yeah. Actually, this is a construction company, right? So what this construction company wanted to do was they bid for RFCs, which are given by the government. Okay.
Mhm.
And so there are all these, this was an European company. So all these European agencies will be saying that, hey, I need this kind of a bridge, I need this kind of a building. So they keep publishing their RFCs in their official government websites. And one of the biggest tasks is, they are a construction company, but they have to spend so much time just looking at the RFCs and understanding if this is something they want to bid or not. And
Hmm.
so and they don't want to get into all the details. They just want to know a few things. What's the project value? What is the nature of what is the size of the project? What is the area in which the project exists? And what are some of the technical things, the technical kind of requirements, what materials to be used? Now, actually, we noticed that initially when we started with document AI, it was more for structured forms kind of document, right? When I say structured thing, it's like invoice is a structured document. Even though it's a document, it's an unstructured document, but there's inherent structure. There's an invoice, there's a table. You saw the bank statement. There's a certain level of structure. But an RFC is not structured. It's just a free flowing. It's like a legal contract. It's just a lot of
Yeah.
text. But we noticed that document AI is able to extract those key terms even from an RFC. So you have 100 RFCs. You don't have to go through all of them to identify those top 10. You go through, put it through document AI and tell the document AI that, hey, I just need 4 information from you. Tell me what are the key uh, materials to be used in this project as per the specification. What is the project value? What is the project duration? What is the geography where the project has to happen? I want to first get this information, and then I'll decide whether I want to dig deep into that particular RFC. So you run through document AI, this 100 documents now become a simple table where these fields, 4 or 5 fields are just written there. And now you can do filtering, and you can say, hey, these 5 RFCs are really my Goldilocks zone. It has the right project value, it has the right location, it has the right set of materials that I specialize in. And now we are seeing that it used to take weeks. Human beings going through the RFC to understand this triage, it used to take weeks. Now it's done in like a few minutes. So those are some examples. I hope it does it make sense, Shrey, what we are trying to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So I think what what people need to be prepared for in order for this. What are the next most important steps to prepare for this future?
Yeah, I think the main thing is to start small. I think you have this awesome activation program. You can, I think that also is a step in the right direction. So I think the first thing is to start small, which is I think a lot of companies have done that, which is the demoware and the POCs and proof of concept. And people should know first mentally they should know that that's not the end, that's the beginning, right? To go from a POC to an actual rollout in a company, it takes some amount of deliberation and effort. So that's a one-time effort. I urge people who are watching to make that effort, because to be successful, you have to put that initial effort. But once you put that effort, the whole team runs on autopilot. That's an
Yeah.
awesome outcome to have. And so my suggestion is to start small. And for the first deployment in the company, right, you choose a very specific problem, and you should have an idea of what kind of problem can be thrown to the agents, right? And so look at problems which are language oriented, which are language in, language out kind of problems. Those are the highest value outcomes, because it's called large language model. So anything which is to do with if a user is doing forwarding of faxes based on specific terms in the document, that's a language problem. If the user is categorizing some emails, incoming emails based on certain definitions, that's a language problem. If a user is trying to do mathematical stuff repeatedly on bank statements, in a way, it's a math plus language problem. So identify those low hanging fruits, and then start small. Just start with one rollout in one agent in one company with one. And I would always suggest, when you start with human in the loop. Don't go complete automation. Start with human in the loop. That's why the flows example I gave, because flow very lends itself very easily to human in the loop. And then you can go think more agentic enterprise. It takes time to get to that pure agent kind of workforce, hybrid workforce, they say. That will take time, but I would say these are the starting steps.
Got it. Thanks for mentioning the agent activation program that you are running at Syntex. It's truly transforming the way companies are rolling out with the AI thing in Salesforce, because there's too much gibberish things or gibber that is around out there in the media as well as in the world about how AI and this AI and that AI. But and I'm really thankful for you to say it out loud that start small and don't try to remove all of the people that you have in your company starting from day one just because you heard of a use case that would not require them anymore. No, you do need them. You need to make their job and work more efficient and impactful rather than thinking of not having them at the place at all, right? So thanks for mentioning that. And all right, any final thoughts for our technical audience about the document AI? How should they
uh
start?
yeah, so actually, some of the code that I showed here is actually available on GitHub. I can send you the
Okay.
link. So it's
Perfect.
you
How
can
about
start
you
playing.
post that in the comments in the LinkedIn live that we
Absolutely. I'll
have?
do that the first thing when I go back to my office. So play around with it. It's all Apex, it's all Flow. So the engineers who are watching, please try your POCs. And I've been sharing a lot of in my LinkedIn. If you go back, I would have shared a lot of stuff that people have built. And so I'm happy to share if you have built something cool. But use the reference GitHub project as reference, which gives you how to use the code. But yeah, I think that's all it is. It's a time to build. There's so many things to build right now, so it's a very exciting time. So I'm excited for all
Any
the.
specific use case that you're looking
Yeah,
for that you need any help for that you can run a contest of?
not a bad idea. Yeah, we can. So there are a lot. So what I've seen is a lot of the industry specific
Uh,
solutioning automation. That's where I feel like we can, there is a lot of things, because I'm not from healthcare, I'm not from in financial services. I'm sure some of some of people in your team, they'll have more deeper knowledge. What we do, we know is, like, we know from the product, the general industry perspective, this is what you need to do. But then how do you apply specifically to different industries is where I feel a lot of the engineers and all the talent can we can really use. Because you can imagine that there'll be a lot of people who are in these companies, who are these different industries. They have the technical mind, but they also have the contextual business understanding. So I would say real special call out, if you can build something using the power of these technologies, using document AI, but something which is very specific to your industry, whichever industry that is, whether it is ITSM, whether it is construction, or whatever it is. Can you think of something which can bridge these worlds together? Because I feel that's where the biggest multiplier is. Because there's a set of people who are in Twitter who know the latest things, and we are building products. But there's a whole lot of people who are actually in very deep industries, right, for which we don't know. But they don't have enough context on what's happening. This all looks like science fiction to them. So we need that worlds to come together. And so I urge people to think industry specific, domain specific, solutions.
And
And
let's choose any four industries that you would want the use
healthcare.
cases to be built
So I
on.
would say
Healthcare,
healthcare, finance, and I would even say what else? Um,
media,
uh, Media,
no,
not
government.
really. I would say the support. So support,
Okay,
right?
so
If you think about support, social, any kind of
oh, there's
support,
a lot of
whether it comes from social media or email or ticket, how do you kind of make sense out of, because it's all unstructured. Somebody writing a bug saying that, hey, this I did this, I clicked this, I clicked that, and then it's not working. How do you make sense of that to give like more real time and more actionable stuff? So service, this thing, healthcare,
healthcare,
finance.
financial.
Yeah.
Got it. These are
Yeah.
three use cases. So I
Yeah.
request all of the people who are watching this webinar or are going to watch this video even later also to produce some use cases and then showcase all of that to us as well as to Anand. If there's going to be something useful, we are going to make the best use of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thank you, everyone.
right.
Thank you for the opportunity each way. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a second. I have.
You have questions?
Yeah, so I just wanted to discuss about the Agentforce activation program that we're running. This allows companies to get their Agentforce experience go like from POC to live, and not only that, it starts off with the basic problems that they are facing, and to reduce the times that like a lot of workflows that they're building into their organizations are taking, and slowly and gradually it's moving ahead. So that's all what my team asked me to talk about. So, anyways, Anand, do you have any questions for me, or do you want to like present anything, or do you want anything, do you have anything else to say?
Not really. Thanks for the opportunity. And definitely, I would say it's a space to watch out for. We have a very busy upcoming two releases. So I'm sure, there'll be a lot more features, and I would love to come back to you and we'll talk about it more at some point in future.
Perfect. Would love to. Thanks for being onto the show. It was amazing. And the demo, of course, was also very amazing. We look forward for more use cases to come up from the audience. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Have a good one,
Thanks a
guys.
lot. Yeah, you
Bye.
too. Bye bye.